Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at @AdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Mitch Russo on the line, and he's the founder over at Mindful Guidance. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Great to be here.
So I'm excited to get more into what you're doing over at Mindful Guidance and how you're helping your clients. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into your background. So how did you get started in business and in your career?
Well, the real start for my business was having built a rock band in high school. And that turned out to be maybe my most educational business experience ever, where I learned how to promote, I learned how to get testimonials, I learned how to price and price test. And overall, it also got me a lot of dates. So it was a great experience overall.
That's awesome.
But, a little later in life, I did start a software company, and I grew that company to over 100 people and 250,000 customers. And eventually we sold that for 8 figures and, enjoyed being retired at the age of 42, but got very anxious. And so a buddy of mine asked me if I'd help him with his company. That was Chet Holmes. And then Chet introduced me to Tony Robbins, and then the three of us, Tony, Chet, and I, built another company together called Business Breakthroughs International, where we grew that company to over $25 million in revenue. And the only reason that ever ended was because Chet passed away. And when he did, that was a very sad moment for me. But from that, I learned a lot. I wrote my first book called The Invisible Organization, which is really a blueprint for how to build a virtual company. The second book came 3 years later, which was last year, and that was called Power Tribes. And that came after some extensive work with clients building certification programs and associations. So today, that's pretty much what I do.
Wow, what an amazing story. And so what I like about it is your vantage point is that you've worked with a lot of people, you've worked with top names, and you've also grown some successful businesses. So that being said, you're a long way from that first rock band, we'll say. But that being said, there's some younger entrepreneurs and or people just starting on their career also that are listening right now that aren't as far along as you. So obviously we all learn from the ups and the downs and the sideways, everything in between. So now you have the benefit of hindsight on your side. What kind of advice would you give to those new budding entrepreneurs that are just getting started?
That's a great question, Adam, and it is very much different for different people in different situations. But here's the core element of virtually anyone starting a business. Have enough money. You need enough money to survive, not to build the business. You could build the business almost without any money at all. But if you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your rent and your electric bill and your internet bill, then long term, this isn't going to work. You have to have enough money in the bank to survive, or enough money coming in on a relatively passive basis in order to build a business. Now, I know plenty of people who are out there hustling, and that's totally fine. They may work a full-time job. They may even drive Uber at night to put that nest egg in the bank before they try and start a business. And I applaud that. That's great. Keep doing that. But if you do, if you don't do what I'm telling you, the bottom line is that you're going to find yourself in a place sooner than you think where you're going to have to make a decision about shutting it down altogether or finding another way to be in business that doesn't involve your time. And that's not good.
No, that's great advice. Great sound advice, Mitch. Let's switch it up a bit. I want to get into what you're doing over at Mindful Guidance. So you touched on it briefly, but let's go a little bit further. So first, tell me a little bit more about the company, please.
Sure. So the company is we have several coaches here that we work with on a regular basis that are part of our team, and we do business coaching. We work with people who've already in business and already generating revenue. We don't work with beginners only because most of the time if beginners, as you might know, Adam, have mindset issues, which are holding them back more than anything else. And I think there are better people than me to help them with beginning mindset issues. I work with people who are already in business, already generating revenue, might hit a mindset issue, which we can fix rapidly because they've already experienced some success and can get past it. But we do basic business coaching. We do advanced business coaching. We sit on the board of different companies when asked at different times and for different reasons. But our core business is building certification programs, associations, and building sales teams. We recently completed a fairly interesting sales team for someone very popular in the training space. We just built an association for, I don't know if you know who Davin Michaels is, the founder of Employee 123. So we're good at taking larger ideas and formulating a way to implement them quickly. And that's what I did in my book, Power Tribes, about certification. So that is a place to start learning about certification. And, you know, if you're a candidate to work with me, then that book will give you enough of a understanding so that we can rapidly build your certified consultant program.
So what is there any particular niche that you tend to work in or like to work in, or if somebody's listening to this and they think that they may be a candidate to need some of your help, is there a specific niche or is it more so size of company, just so that I'm clear?
It's more size of company. In other words, there hasn't been a niche I haven't worked in, I don't think. But at the same time, you know, as I said earlier, it's harder for me to help somebody who's just not started yet. But I work with people. I work amazingly. Most of my clients are women, which I'm not sure why, but I do love working with smart, effective people who can be coached. And I think women have a leg up on us guys. I think we have too much ego in the way sometimes. But a lot of the women I work with are incredibly successful, easily coached, and take advice, face value, trust me, and move forward rapidly. And I love that. That's my favorite type of client.
Let's go a little bit further into Power Tribe. So tell us a little bit more about the book, please.
Sure. So when I was building Timeslips Corporation, which is the software company I mentioned earlier, we almost accidentally figured out how to create a program that would deliver to us a free sales force who pays us for the privilege of selling our products, later turned into our third largest sales force, and helped drop $1 million in profits back in the 1980s to our bottom line, all because of certification. And today what we do is, again, I have blueprinted that process very, very completely. So when I work with a client, we go very quickly from A to B and then to Z and build their certification program rapidly. So for the most part, we can plan a complete certification program, including the entire business model from top to bottom, in approximately 30 days. Then we work together to build that program, and using a lot of the techniques that I work with CEOs to master, we teach them how to manage people from a distance. We teach people how to build a culture for their tribe. And that's why the book is called Power Tribes, because it's really all about people. Anything that involves a group has a culture. And if you don't build a culture, then you're stuck with what happens by accident. And I'm not in favor of seeing that happen to anybody who I work with, because usually it's not good.
I completely get it, and I agree with that. The intention behind it is what makes the big difference in the organization. So, Mitch, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on mindful guidance or to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Probably to go to my website, mitchrusso.com, and on there's a contact us form, and just put me a note that you heard me on the show. Tell me how much you love Adam, and what I'll do is I'll schedule a little time and we could chat. But by all means, do it, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to find out what you really need.
And for more information on Power Tribes or your other book, what's the best way for them to get that? Go
to powertribesbook.com for the book, obviously, and go to invisibleorganization.com, and that's for my first book. But
Fantastic.
both of those sites have, if you buy it through the site, it's basically an Amazon purchase link. If you buy it through the site, you get some freebies as well.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Mitch, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing over at Mindful Guidance. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, do all those great things we do to support our podcasters. I really do appreciate it. And Mitch, thanks again for coming on the show.